Um, yeah, so we're gathering today to honor Asha and remember Asha. And I did just see an email a few minutes ago that said that uh, the memorial, yesterday, that Lama was hosting, apparently the time zones got a little confused, and there is a recording of that that you can watch it. So I am happy to send that out with my next email, so you can watch the one that happened yesterday. Welcome. And yeah, so I thought what we would do today is, Sadiq, I'm so happy to see you here today. Asha's brother, welcome. I thought we would sing some songs. Some of us want to share zikr. I put together a little photo montage, and I think a few people also have photos to share. So my request to you is, if you would please chat in the chat box, if you'd like to say something, share something, show something, whatever it might be. And we'll just, I expect that we might go up to an hour and a half. We might not take that long, but that's kind of what I've allotted to it. And I know that some of you had already let me know in advance that you would like to share, but I just want to kind of get a last minute in case anybody's feeling brave today. Last minute count. The other thing I'll tell you is that after we share, after somebody shares, I'll ring this bell, kind of as a way to really allow us to absorb the words, the heart that people are sharing with.
Latifa, if you put your original sound on when you ring the bell, we could hear it sustained, and that would be really nice.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. The reason I turn it off is because I have an air conditioning unit that people have been saying is loud. So I'll try it again. Thank you. I know exactly how this sounds, and it's not pleasant. Is that better? Yeah. So that's what you'll hear after each of us shares. Olga, would you be willing to join me over here? So Olga and I are going to sing one of my, this is a song or a dance that I was doing at the Ithaca Dance Camp probably 5 or 6 years ago, before I ever met Asha. And afterwards, I had probably a 4 or 5 hour unitive experience as a result of this dance, and it just felt like icebergs were breaking apart and opening. Okay, ready? Thou holy Asha, art on the tree of life, standing in the middle of the eternal sea, standing in the middle of the eternal sea. Thou holy Asha, art on the tree of life, standing in the middle of the eternal sea, standing in the middle of the eternal sea. Thou holy Asha, art on the tree of life, standing in the middle of the eternal sea, standing in the middle of the eternal eternal sea, standing in the middle of the eternal sea. Thank you. So, hi to friends we haven't seen for a while. I'm so happy to see you all. Yeah, I'm just looking through. Wow, 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 wow. I know, Chad, you're coming from very far away. Lucy, and yeah, I don't want to start saying names because then I'll leave people out, and I don't want to do that. So I thought I would share a little photo montage of that I put together of Asha and yeah, just time with her. Sadiq, before I do that, is there anything you want to share up front? I know we haven't talked about this and I don't want to put you on the spot, but in the event that there's anything, okay, okay, thank you. Yeah, thanks. You might recognize this as Micah Rose's baby. So I'm just going to play it for a while and we could just sit. Oh, there's a sound. I'm going to turn that down.
I'm not seeing anything.
Oh, you're not. Oh, I think I have to share my screen. Sorry. I'm going to start that over again. Thank you. Okay, now we'll give it a shot. We'll just sit in silence. This is a few minutes. Allowing your breath to lengthen and deepen. She was swimming in the pond about 3 or 4 months before she died. as your eyes are filled with this beauty, really allowing, oh, I love this series, Sadiq. Allowing the love to travel through your eyes right to your heart. This was at the abode, and we wanted to serve, Asha wanted to serve tea ceremony, and there was no tea ceremony implement, so we got a big bowl and water and a ladle and coffee cups. That's it. Trying to find you behind all my screens. So, it was something I was hoping you might enjoy. And I know there's several people who would like to share, Rahmana, I think you'd like to share a zikr. Would you be willing to do that now?
Bismillah. Hello, friends. Okay. Can you see that? I think you can. This is one of Asha's beautiful cards from the deck, and it says, "Let go of your mind. Drop into the ground of being." Like many of you, I have been changed in knowing Asha, and I picked this periwinkle today in her honor to wear in my hair. This is a beautiful zikr that Murshida Leila wrote some time ago, and it seems this is what Asha was telling us all along. Dissolving, rebirthing, who? Say who? Dissolving, rebirthing, who? Say who? Allahu, 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 Allahu. Dissolving, rebirthing. Allow inside and outside to merge. Ooh, 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 yahoo.
Yeah, that's what happens. And if you can spotlight me for a second, if you can. I'm just breathing. Imagine we're laying on the ground and watching the clouds, as Asha often would have us do at Sufi retreats, and nowhere to go, nothing we have to do, nobody we have to be. Sharifa, will you share your poem? Thank you.
Thank you. So I met Asha when I was 22, and by some miracle, she just took me under her wing. And I wonder how many hundred people would say exactly the same thing. By some miracle, she just took me under her wing. And so one of the things that I did, and that she and I did together, I have been writing poems recently, and she always was the first one to hear each of the poems, and she was like my great cheerleader and a very generous critic. She was happy to tell me what I needed to do to make it better. But this is one poem that she just loved, and there was no critique. She just said, oh yes. And this is a poem that is to the direction, it's toward east. And I just remember the last months of her life sitting on her porch with her, with a few people, just as the sun was coming up over the mountain. And she would always say, hush, wait, watch, here is the sun. So this is east. East births morning out from tangible dark. Hills blanketed in quiet are naked, tender. Pre-dawn's shadowless glimmer is a reticent glow. A sadhu at cave's mouth, singing. Stir, a wave of pearl light breaks against the shore of day. Clouds are innocent as abalone. Birds sing like creation's first dawn. Human beings rise, pray, bow. Earth's devotion to beauty washes through coastal wetlands where reeds shiver in crimson-tinged water, through mangrove forests whose tigers wake and yawn, and open prairies as sage-grouse strut and fan. Devotion splashes against Rocky Mountain shoulders, rolls through high desert mesas, glances off Sierran glacial granite faces, turns coastal glass towers to torches of magenta light. Now a flood of gold envelops serene and shadowed dark. Night remembers to parse out for each tree, stone, stalk, to offer each one's daily share of darkness. Shadow, soft and diffuse, daylight's moon is gift, cool relief. It is mystery, the not yet known. Light in the end brings paradox. We bow before shadow differently than we pray to light. Life without shade is lived on an anvil. Night cool follows us as shadow through the day by the gift of East's luminous face. Thank you.
Bryn, I know you have something you'd like to share, and I got your message, but I'd like to hold yours for a little later if you have the timing for that. Does that work for you?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Who else would like to share? A thought, a memory, a love note. Diana?
And me?
I'm sorry, Diana Lyon.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Can you spotlight her? Thank you.
So these are just some words that came as some images have been floating to the surface in these weeks since Asha died. My little one is trundling around on the floor, so if you see me distracted or hear other noises, it's Ella. Asha, your body is in the ground. Your being fills the sky. Here we are in a hotel room in Bozeman, a guest house in Delhi, sleeping on the floor at Elaine's, singing on a beach in Mexico, making oatmeal in your kitchen. How was I so lucky to be with you all these years in all these places? How was I so lucky to learn these things from you? Always travel with your own supply of tea and maybe a couple of biscuits to go with it. Your body is the location of practice. Move, dance, walk. Aspire for contentment rather than happiness. Remembering you, Asha, I see you offer an intricate scarf to a young woman whose weeping has brought a flood of mucus. The juxtaposition of silk and snot brings a flood of laughter. Remembering, I feel your feet as I brush them with amazed fingertips. Your soft, tall body pressed against my own soft, mothering body. Remembering I hear you in deep silence, in hysterical laughter, in hara-centered zikr, weeping at beauty. Remembering I smell wood smoke. You look up from blowing a fire into being, your face smeared with ash. Asha, in death I wear you like one of your flowing robes. When I am up late worrying about my children, my spouse, the world, I draw you around me. Delicious, deep comfort, and perhaps a glimpse of that contentment you suggested all those years ago. Thank you, Asha. And thank you, Latifa. A deep bow to you, Latifa, for holding space for all of us during this last year and more. Thank you so much, and to this beautiful Sangha, and much love.
In the Sufi tradition, many of you, I'm sure, have, or maybe I'm not sure, some of you have heard this idea of that we're in a caravan, and those who have died and come before us are out ahead of us in the caravan, and those who are coming and who are young, like Ella, are behind us. And so those in the caravan who are ahead of us are reaching their hands back and inviting us to step into their footsteps. There's so much to step into with my beloved teacher and friend. And now we have the opportunity to really step into the invitation of whatever feels useful or important to you. And I thought what we might do is, just as you want to, just unmute your microphone and say something, if you want, that you are stepping into in Asha's footsteps as she draws us forward. And it doesn't matter if it gets a little confused. We can just go ahead, Chad.
Yeah. Being present. Today, I'm in Costa Rica, and today, a giant, can you see it? A giant heart-shaped leaf fell at my feet. And I felt Asha. And that's what I've been feeling, this merging everywhere I look, if I can be present. I hardly know her as this Asha person that was in my life in so many ways and so beloved, because she's so much more now. I feel that. And I'm so thankful for that. So being present and merging.
Thank you, Chad. Anybody else would like to share what you're stepping into as Asha draws us forward into her footsteps? Michael, do you want to share something?
I've got a couple of thoughts, and they're going to be in prose. We've heard some amazing poetry. My first is that Asha's timing has always been impeccable. And I think the timing of her going was also impeccable. And I do live close to her. It's been icy and snowy and very, very cold. And the world is turning icy and cold and snowy. So I think her departure was very well timed. And I appreciated it, among other things. I did appreciate and do appreciate how grounded she was, as well as being way out there. What a wonderful combination. What an amazing combination. She loved the earth and everything in it. And her feet really did walk on the ground, even if her head was so out there. And one last thing, and that is that I think her leaving was well timed in another sense, in that she has left space for others to grow in and to grow significantly. And that was also a gift. And sometimes when somebody is so huge, a spirit, a being, that it's hard to grow in her presence. And her leaving, I think, is an invitation for others to grow in the space that she has created by leaving. I mean, that's how it works in nature. A big tree goes down, and open sky. And the other trees around fill in. And I think that's what's going to happen here. I'm not mentioning names, but I think that's what's going to happen here too. That's it.
Is there anyone else who would like to share anything from this place of who, I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but who Asha calls you to be? Go ahead, Liz.
I'll go. You ask where we're stepping into, and I think we're all kind of stepping into the same place that Asha's already gone to. And, this breath, the next breath, the one after that, today, tomorrow, kicking and screaming or jumping in head first, and all the above. And how to just Yahoo, you know, head in the clouds, head not in the clouds, just being real with whatever it is. And, you know, I mean, I don't know what this place is. It's like I'm doing my best to make nonsense of it all because I gave up on making sense out of any of it. And Yahoo, you know, we've all got our perceptions and our beliefs and our realities and our filters. And hopefully we can kind of share them all and let them all go and see what's still here and there. And I'm gonna miss Asha. And I don't miss her at all because she's like right here.
Liz, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for sharing. Asha. A 20-year journey for this one, although we came from the same hometown. I gotta say, I can't imagine. The grief I'm going through is blowing my mind. I wake up in tears and I don't know where they're coming from. And then it's like, oh yeah, I'm in grief. Because the space is so big. And I so seldom had the patience to sit with her under the redwoods. But I sure appreciated that opening. Yes, Latifa, thank you for all our gatherings that you have hosted. I have appreciated our time together. And I thank you for today. Aloha.
Olga, do you want to go next?
Sure. Will you?
Oh, yes. So when I think of what Asha, her being is calling me to step into is strength and not being small in this world. When I first met Asha, I was incredibly intimidated by her, and it continued for many years. She was such a strong presence. And then one day I was in the tea house and she invited me to stay a little longer. She said, I'm going to go up, go do whatever she was going to go do. And she said, you stay a while. And I said, okay, I have the time. And so I stayed. And I remember, I was looking at nature and I looked over at the corner where she always sat, for those of you who've been in the tea house, that corner. And just kind of like, can I sit there? Am I allowed to sit there? And I just felt so just pulled to that corner. I had to go. And I sat there, and the moment my spine, my back just touched and sat and landed, I felt like the tallest mountain I have ever been. And it was all of Asha's energy and love and strength and practice and grounding. It just filled me up. And that was probably 2.5 years ago now at this point. And to this day, it's still the most touching of the most the strongest of touch points I have. And I truly do believe that's what she wishes for me and maybe for all of us. So I will leave it at that. Thank you so much. I'm grateful for this community, and I'm grateful for the continued presence and essence of Asha.
So Bryn, I know you have something you would like, I think a song, and is there a picture you want me to pull up? Let's see if I found it.
Yeah, I emailed it to you, but I can get it to you a different way if that's better.
Did you email it or send it MailChimp? Oh, I see it. Okay, let me see if I can grab it.
Can I give a little intro first?
Please, go ahead and I'll work on this.
Awesome. Hi everyone, I'm Bryn. I'm coming to you live from an airport. Been doing undercover Zikr inside my mask. Can you hear me okay? Okay, cool. So I am traveling and I don't have my my instrument, and I'm glad that I had recorded before I left on this trip, recorded this song so I could share it with you today. It came from, I really wanted to come to the burial and be with some of you there, many of you there. And it wasn't in the cards for me. And I just was so attuned to what has felt like this blessing of a community process and the just blessing of getting to be kept close and kept posted and kept in the loop. And so many, so many things about all of this have been I can't think of any other word besides blessing right now, so I'll just keep using that. Anyway, the way that I process things a lot of the time and kind of find my way through things is singing and freestyling and writing songs. And so on Monday after Asha died, when it was the day of the burial, I sat down with my harmonium and I just took myself along with you, those of you who were there, and I imagined what it was like, and I imagined what it was like walking up the hill, and I was singing through it, and I was experiencing it, some iteration of it along with you, and this song came through. And when we get to the zikr part, I just had this really, really clear image of there was snow, and I knew that there was snow, and so this clear image of, I think there was snow, at least in my, yeah. So I had this image and this experience of all of our voices joining together in harmonies and just cascading and rising up in colors up towards the sky and bouncing off the snow. And so if you want to sing along on the Hu Allah, that would be wonderful.
So Bryn, I got the picture open and I'm still not able to open the...
Really?
Yeah, it just says, sorry, something went wrong. Maybe my browser is outdated.
Well, I can try to do it and we can see how it goes. Have I been jerky at all coming through as I've been talking?
You're not jerky at all, Bryn.
Well,
just kidding.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Well, if you allow me to screen share, then I can try to do it myself and we can see how it goes.
You got it. It might take me a second here to do that.
Sure. I'll just say something about this photo, which is it's part of the same moment that
I'm working on it.
Part of the same moment that as some of the photos that Latifa was sharing in that beautiful slideshow, which could have gone on forever as far as I was concerned. We were at the abode for the Jamiat class, and I think it was 2016, and Asha served tea, and Latifa served tea as well, and Jelani from the UK played the violin, and it was beautiful. And I asked Asha, I think she had initiated me maybe 2.5 years before that, and I sort of timidly said, you know, can I take a photo of you for my altar? Because I didn't have an altar photo of her at the time, and she looked so beautiful in her tea outfit on that mat outside at the abode. And she said, yes. And that, like, just simple, no wobbliness about it. Like, yes, you can, because I know you love me and I love you too. And so, like, take your picture, you know? And that's the picture that I always have with me. So I will, here it is. Okay, so I'll share my screen. Here she is. Oh, and I need to share my sound too. Sorry. Share sound. Yes. Okay. Feel free to chat me or make a motion if it's not quite loud enough.
I can rely on my nouns for now. I can rely on you. I can rely on my nouns for now. I can rely on you, dissolving into love, dissolving into love, dissolving into our I can rely on my nouns for now. On you, I can rely on my nouns for now. I can rely on you, dissolving into love, dissolving into love, dissolving into our love. we can rely on you dissolving into love, dissolving into love, dissolving into.
And that beautiful poem that I think Asha's great niece, wrote. She said she blended out with pinks and blues, and I just trust her completely in that. Blended in, blended out, blended all around, and we feel her. Thank you.
I know there's a few others who would like to share. Thank you, Bram. And what I'd like to do now is move into kind of a short-ish meditation. I guess that's all relative. Bran, if it's okay with you, I'm going to borrow this image to share while we're doing this meditation. It's so beautiful. Toward the one, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of this mystery, the spirit of guidance. So sitting in a way that feels comfortable and easy as you can let this be. Allowing the breath to lengthen and deepen. And now allowing the breath as it comes into the body to be a softening agent, softening any place in this solid being or this emotional body that's feeling stuck or tangled or held, allowing this in-breath to marry with this stuckness and soften, work its way in. And allowing this out-breath to be the vehicle on which this tightness or stuckness or entanglement can ride out. So softening on the in-breath, releasing on the out-breath. And you can either open your eyes or keep them closed, but let's imagine Asha, our deeply beloved by so many, I would say probably thousands of people. I don't think I'm overstating that. And place this image that's in front of you now in the space in front of what you call you, this body. And feel the space between the vibration of this body, of your body, and this image of Asha. And feel that the space is charged with the love that you share together. This is no longer a neutral, empty space. It's a space that's full of love and light. And now let's take this image of Asha and place it behind you, maybe about 10 feet. So we've still got the image in front and now in back. Feeling the space between you and the Asha behind you is charged with the love that you share. Kind of opening up your back. Opening up your back to be able to receive and tune to this love between the two of you. Just filling you with light and love. Without turning around, you can become acutely aware of the space behind you, between you and Asha. Feeling this love. It's bright and sparkly with this love that you share with Asha. And now let's place this image or another image in your mind of Asha on either side of you. And again, evoke the love that you and Asha share and feel that the space between you and these two images of Asha on either side is alive with this love. And now, keeping all of these images around you, place an image of Asha above you, about 10 feet. And evoke, it's so easy to evoke the love that you share with Asha. And feel that the space between the top of you and this image of Asha is alive with this love. And now, of course, we'll take this image of Asha and we'll place it beneath us, about 10 feet below you. Sometimes this space underneath, you might perceive it to be denser or darker or more impenetrable. But using your loving imagination, there's no density here. You are now suspended weightlessly in this empty, loving space. now you're surrounded in all directions by the image of Asha. And the space all around you is alive with the love that you share. It's like you're cradled in a cocoon of soft, warm, loving space, or sometimes I envision this as like a shimmering pink love bubble. And now, as hard as this might feel, allowing the images of Asha all around you to gently dissolve back. The space all around you remains charged with the love that you share. But the love is no longer directed to or emanating from Asha. This empty, loving space perhaps is where we can meet Asha. The love remains. And I'll ring the bell 3 times, and hopefully I have it on the right setting so it sounds pleasant to you. When you no longer hear the sound of the bell, you can just kind of blink your eyes open. Sharifa, if you're still here and you've been feeling patient, I know you raised your hand a while ago, but I'd love to hear what you have to share.
Thank you. Well, the meditation that we just did is sort of a visceral embodiment of what I was going to say. Your question was, what is it that Asha is inviting me into? What is she and how is she inviting me to become more who I am? And I feel like what she's inviting me is to step into the woods, to step into the forest. I just think of the years, the hours, the decades of sitting in her tea house with her in the middle of the woods, and the walks in the woods that we always took, and the really awareness, tuning into the beingness of all of the other than human beings that we live with. She used to say to me, I went for a walk this morning, and the moment I stepped inside of the woods, and you know, it is inside, it is a different, it's like stepping inside a different space. It's a different room. It's a different reality. And when we were doing the meditation, this of Asha and our love of the woods just being all surrounding, I feel like she asked me to step deeper and deeper into the natural world, and she's right here. She's right here. She's in these woods, and just such gratitude for her presence and for the way that she is printed into this living sphere, and the way that she's printed into like my DNA. So thank you. It's so lovely to be with everyone. And again, Latifa, thank you for carrying us in this way.
Thank you, Sharifa. I want to just check in to see if Mansoor is here. I haven't seen, if you're here, Mansoor, I haven't seen you on my little floats through the delightful floats through everybody's faces. He had said he wanted to share something. Is there anybody else who has something you would like to share?
It's rough.
Oh, Rahmana, yes. Thank you. I saw your chat.
Bismillah. Things to say, and what's been said is so inspiring. The way everyone's been so touched and moved, and the way we've all been imprinted, as was just said. The first time I met Asha, I was astounded at her fierce and bold authenticity. I've never experienced anyone like that before, ever since. So that kind of being our true selves is a legacy I find she has left. And her passion for the ordinary. Amen.
I remember when Asha would say, and I'm sure many of you or some of you remember when she would go like this. Do you remember this one? And she'd say, "This is a miracle, but we can do this." Thank you, Rahmana. Is there anybody else who has anything you'd like to share? It doesn't have to be perfect, or you can be awkward like I am, stumbling around a little bit here, and Olga is really why this is working so smoothly, so thank you. I hear somebody
I'd like to
unmuted.
say
Yeah,
something.
please.
Raya,
Oh, Mariah.
I just want to say something kind of quick. And so many times I sat in the tea house meditating with Asha, and then after tea, of course, sometimes there were these very philosophical and deep or spiritual or light conversations. But then there was a point at which Asha would say, okay, I have to kick you guys out now because I have to go and paint. And I think that that's really it. It's like you can go into these deep spaces, but then and you move to life with it. That's it.
Thank you, Mariah. I think I hear somebody's unmuted. Somebody want to share?
It's Liz again, wanting
Okay.
to say the question of, can you do this? You can do that. You can do that. That's what Asha inspired me. And as much as I question myself, I am stepping in what I can do. Thank you.
You can do this. I've told this story, so forgive me if you've heard it, but maybe you've never heard it. I was first drawn to Asha by her kind of large, unkept feet. And when I first told this story, she was embarrassed, and then later she kind of loved it. And we were in, it was when I first came to Charlottesville. I didn't know her, of course, I've heard of her, and I was invited to a Sufi gathering, and I don't know if it was, I think it was summertime, and everybody kicked off their shoes out in the hallway, and I looked over at her feet, and I thought, so I was raised very kind of conservative, middle class upbringing, and anyway, I looked at her feet and I thought, can you go out in public with feet that look like, can you do that with feet that look like that? And of course her feet have been in the earth for probably much of her life, and of course she was in the throes of gardening, and what I realized was, I want some of that. I had perfected this veneer of looking okay. My sister's in this meeting today, and so she probably will relate to this, that it doesn't matter like what was actually happening as long as everything looked okay. And I perfected that, and the first practice she gave me, because I wanted to be more authentic, and the very first practice she gave me was to tell a secret about myself every day, which I did for at least a year, and I highly recommend it. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So, unless there's anyone else, this is your last chance if you're feeling brave. Sometimes the last call can bring a little courage up.
Not sure of quite how brave I am, but
Oh.
Asha was always wanting me to share my voice, and it was always very difficult for me to do that. And the thing that has kept coming to me as I've listened to you guys is she said, Donna, if you're thinking it, somebody else is too. You've got to express it. You've got to tell people. So that's all. I'm thank you everyone for all of your lovely sharings. And I so miss being there in Moran Forest. And I miss Asha, but Asha's here, so thank you.
Thank you, Donna Habiba. Did I see somebody else pop up on the screen? Majida. Oh, Majida. Did you want to say
Yeah.
something? Thank you.
I did not know Asha intimately, but I wrote a precious moment with Asha in silence will last my lifetime. She has shown me the way to walk in appreciation each day. I bow to Asha's spirit with gratitude.
Thank you, Rashida. Bryn, I see that you've raised your hand.
Hi again, everyone. I just feel this can be brief too. I'm feeling called to just mention something that, especially in the last couple of years, Asha was very explicitly calling for. There are so many, so many other places, other streams I could go with this, and what's coming is she really, and I'm sure some of you got this as well, but I think it's worth repeating and remembering and hanging out with. Like, she was really into a thing of like, it's time for women and for folks who have not typically been in positions of power to continue to take on leadership positions and be themselves and be leaders and be and be powerful in the ways that they naturally are. And so with me and in our discussions of women in leadership positions in the Rohaniat specifically, she was so ready for, in this, particularly women to lead, but not have to feel like they have to do it the way that the men have. And I feel like I'm at the beginning of my journey exploring what that means and how it looks for me. And but she's very clear about it. And I just wanted to mention it for each of us to continue to step into our power in the way that's really us, and not try to make it look like anyone else's, and not feel scared into shaping it to seem like anyone else's, and to be in our power. Thanks.
Thank you, Bryn. Laurel, I see that your hand is raised.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for every beautiful thing that you've shared. And I have this sunshine streaming in around me, and it feels like Asha's warmth touching me and blessing all of us. And I just wanted to call in the beauty that Asha brought into the death process, and how inspiring it was to me to watch her deeply lean into passing through into the next step, and just how purposeful it was in saying goodbye to everyone. I was so grateful for the time that I got to spend with her and say goodbye. And I was crying at one point, and she turned to me and she said, "What are you crying about?" And then she goes, "Oh, that death thing. Yeah, don't worry about that." And she was just so present and grounded in everything. And it was such an incredible lesson, as all the lessons that she's taught me over the years, especially to go out and just be in nature. It's so important, and it inspired me to support others to turn off their phones, step away from their computers, and to just be and be in nature. And I'll always remember that. And I hope we can all hold a piece of her in that place of deep groundedness when we put our feet into the earth and drink some delicious tea in her honor.
Thank you, Laurel. Malik, love to hear from you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for putting this all together, and Latifa, thank you for all the time and energy you put into holding the space for Asha's transition and everything leading up to that. I really appreciate that. Yeah, so I think the most important thing for me to share is I always kind of labeled Asha the anti-authoritarian teacher, and she had a really big persona, but there was no resistance there to be able to act out in rebellion, just for rebellion's sake, and that really gave me the opportunity to connect to my spiritual side, which almost got knocked out as a result of my upbringing in the Christian church. And yeah, and it's just wonderful. And I feel so blessed to have been able to spend 20 years in Charlottesville with her, guiding me through all of my challenges in my growth. And yeah, it's funny. It's funny. She's definitely she's the paradox. You know, she's big and she sees the miracle of it all. Yet there's this grounded pragmatism to her as well. It's just wonderful. It's wonderful being able to grow in that light. Thank you all for listening.
So happy to see you, dear brother. So unless there's anyone else, I think what we'll do is we will end this today with Row, Row, Row Your Boat, which was one of Asha's favorites, and she led it often at retreats. And then when we're done with that, I'm going to run the slideshow again with no words, and because a couple of people came on late and they were hoping to be able to see it. So I'll run it again after we do our round. Ready? Thank you. Thank you. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Merrily, life is but a dream. Row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Thank you, Olga. Thank you, everyone. See you next week.